control.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Had some questions about if our houses are painted or they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there, and usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logo.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
Go. Good afternoon, everyone. Starting with some good-hearted laughs in the house between Skip, Sherry Anderson, and Honoka Sasaki. Love to see that. What language barrier? They're having fun out there. Sherry Anderson starting with Hammer. In this C-QUALIFIER. Two quality teams that are supposed to show up. Field out here at Swift. Got some good teams out here with the C-QUALIFIER having a chance to make the playoffs. Sasaki first round rings. Team Sherry Anderson will address that. First in our hands. Late corner strategy, you never know. Cherry's got the sweepers on. Looks like they're satisfied with the hit and stick. I'm also trying to, there's no overhead on my Good afternoon, curling audience. Just making sure all of our little details are correct here, bringing you the best production we possibly can. Good afternoon, especially to CBC Gem listeners and viewers. You've made the right choice. I love reruns of old Canadian sitcoms as much as the next guy, but today we got some live curling, and I'm glad that you've joined in and made this choice to join us in Swift Current for the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series. My name is Rory McCusker. Am I really a commentator? Am I really a video producer? Not so much. I'm just a curling fan like you. But I'm glad you've joined me today for the C qualifier action between the international team Sasaki from Japan. A lot of experience on this team, but not particularly recently. This is a team that really shows off the depth of curling talent that countries like Japan have been able to develop in the last couple decades. Gone are the days with one dominant team from each international destination, and countries like Switzerland and Japan, even the UK at this point right now, putting out multiple championship level teams. You see that Ross Patterson team and Bruce Mowat battling it out quite often in the Scottish Playdowns. You got Ross White, young up-and-comer out of the UK. Same goes for these teams out of Japan. Yoshimura and Fujisawa both enjoying quite a bit of international success. This Sasaki team made up of some experienced players, but they don't really get a lot of competitive ice time. Brains behind the operation. Mari Motohashi, she's traveled with Team Fujisawa extensively, more or less manages that team. A lot of experience with taking that team, Fujisawa, to their many tournaments and such. Throwing the third stones here. You can see her skating down the ice, following her draw to the wing here. This is the kind of Japanese kind of farm team. I'm not sure how you'd describe it, but the players that they're looking to develop as perhaps the next competitive team or as fill-in players for teams that have players turning over. Long story short, this team Sasaki will be looking to get as much experience as possible this competitive season. Winning this event in Swift Current would be a great start to that. Their opponents today, the eternal Sherry Anderson. What Saskatchewan curler has not heard this name? Sherry has been a powerful skip in this province for decades, enjoying success at many stages of her career. New lineup this year. Essentially her seniors team that she's been taking pretty far in that arena, competing together in this women's event. I first met Sherry Anderson when she filled in on my mother's team, the Schmerler squad. You know, post Sandra, tried to figure things out. Jan Becker moved to skip. They tried a year with Sherry Anderson throwing skip stones, and I was pretty young, but I'm actually not exactly sure how they did that year, but I remember meeting Sherry at that time, and you know, just even at that time, just very respected as a really consistent final stone thrower and a skip that was able to hold her own against the best. So still doing very well, Sherry Anderson. I guess I should give some context there. My mother being Joan McCusker, playing on the Sandra Schmerler Olympic team. Big changes on that team, of course, as they entered the decade of the 2000s. And yeah, met Sherry around 2001 or 2002. My name, Rory McCusker. Broadcasting live out of my condo in Regina, accessing the cameras here in Swift Current, hosting some broadcasting software, some audio capture software, and just doing what I can to bring you this curling to YouTube, CBC Gym, Facebook, wherever you watch your live streams. Bit of a classic first end here. When that team without hammer makes a decision to throw their first rock in the rings, you know a very strong possibility is a blank end, or at least a blank attempt. With Team Sasaki putting their first rock in the top 4 and Sherry Anderson choosing to hit instead of throw a guard on her own. The remainder of the free guard zone being the first 5 rocks of the end. You cannot remove a rock high of the rings in the free guard zone. Both teams electing to not use the free guard zone, so as a result, we have a back and forth end of hits, hit and rolls, draws. Just one team occupying the house and the other team removing their stone, all in hopes of blanking the end. Score of 0 means you carry hammer, the last rock advantage, into the next end. Team Sherry Anderson looking to remove all Team Sasaki rocks and ideally on their last stone, roll out of the rings. Of course, if Team Sasaki were to miss one of Sherry Anderson's stones, they would gladly take the 2 points, drawing for 2 on their last rock. But with respect to their opponent, I think the plan here is to remove Sasaki rocks and roll out on their last one to carry that last stone hammer advantage into the second end. First rock here from Sherry Anderson. Getting the feel for the ice, getting the feel for her stones, her slide, how it feels at this time of day. I'll have to go back and look when Sherry Anderson's previous game was, but for these teams in the C event, they, at this point, guaranteed have been playing much more games than the rest of the field. That's what winning and losing will do. Somewhat bounces you to the area of the draw that needs to play next, so as you win and lose throughout the tournament, in that order, you're very likely to play more games than everyone else. 5th game of the tournament for each team. Very similar shooting statistics and I should say scoring statistics for each team. If you would like more detail on how these teams have been doing throughout the tournament, well, curlingzone.com has all of your data, analytics, previous scores, player information, team information, head-to-head record. Hey, you name it. Wherever you get your sports stats, make Curling Zone your curling sports stats destination. That's where you're going to find all of this information. Looks like both teams have been putting up about 8 points per game. Points for per game, around 8. Pretty significantly high number, higher than average for sure. Points against per game. Honoka Sasaki giving up 6.67 points per game so far. I would say that's higher than average. And Sherry Anderson, 6.21. Also a little higher than average. Sherry Anderson, last rock, first end. Sweepers on it the whole way, trying to roll this rock out of the rings. They will do so. The house is blank. It means nobody scores here in the first end. Sherry Anderson will take the hammer to the second when we come back.
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
about if our houses are painted or they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there, and usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logo.
Welcome back, afternoon curling audience. We know NFL is on, but there's nothing like C-qualifiers of a big bonspiel. Win or go home for these two teams. Sherry Anderson of Saskatchewan playing out of Saskatoon, I do believe. Honoka Sasaki, I will have to look at the area or prefecture in Japan that they're from, but Kitami, Japan. And for our English-speaking audience that is not aware of the curling fever in Japan, just go ahead and check those YouTube comments and you will see the outpouring of support from the Japanese curling fans, not only in the country of Japan, but around the world. It is something to behold. Little wiki-ticky result there. Sweepers couldn't quite hold the line. They got a little tick off the center guard. Not quite ruining the come around. Those rocks are what we would call edge to edge. There will be no hit and roll inside attempt available. Lead rock thrower, Ayuna Aoki. Or no, sorry, this is a spare that's in. I'll get her name correct in a second. But the rare lead hit. I myself play lead, and whenever you get this opportunity. Uh-oh, we may have had a burn stone here. I think sweeper Mika Hayashi's foot just barely got in the way, or was that Mari? May have been Mari Motohashi. Sherry doesn't know what to do. The sweeper's foot kicked the rock, and I think Sherry just pushed a little further back, assuming that that's where that rock would have ended up. That's a tough one for the non-offending skip. When a foot contacts the stone, you're not so sure how much force was behind that foot. When it's a broom, you know that the impact was quite minimal, but when a foot contacts the stone, the non-offending team has a bit of guesswork to do. It is their responsibility to place the stone wherever they think it would have ended up. This is a courtesy rule, a courtesy violation, and a courtesy correction is how I would describe it. But Sherry's not too concerned this early in the end. In fact, for Sherry Anderson, the team with hammer, a stone behind the tee line along the wing there is going to be a tool for scoring two. They're going to be able to use that rock, as we see from the overhead here. Beautiful shot. As you can see, that red stone that was just thrown along the wing in the 12-foot there is nowhere for that stone to go but backwards. And what lies behind that stone? A Honoka Sasaki rock. So that's what we would call a freeze. And a fairly well-made one. Eliminates the possibility, not eliminates, but makes it much more difficult for that stone to be removed. Team Sasaki will take the open stone here, choosing to hit the one that they know they can remove. They'll attempt to roll their shooter behind their own center guard. Try to draw play along that center line. As the team without hammer, they will try to occupy the prize scoring area. That center line area is valuable real estate. Team Sasaki does not quite get the roll that they're looking for. Little split screen view for you here, so you can see the thrower and the skip concurrently. Just one of the many kind of creative camera angles that we're able to produce with this live streaming software. I have no producer barking in my ear telling me what to do. Whatever I think you guys want to see is what I'm going to show you. So let's switch from a split screen view to an overhead view. Sherry Anderson is able to get a little roll in there. So even though that is not shot rock, the team with hammer will be quite satisfied with that. If they ever get an opportunity to make a play along that wing, they will bring that stone into consideration. That's really all you can do as a team that's trying to score points with hammer, is keep rocks in the rings and hope that you can make some type of double, or you'll get a miss from your opponent, an ability to make a play on those orbiting outside situations. And equally as risky, Team Sasaki will think, hey, we could address that outside situation. That looks a little tricky though. So why don't we just play our own game down the middle of the ice here. Team Sasaki will try a draw around the center guard, hoping to draw the attention of Team Anderson to this center line. Looks like they'll overcurl significantly. Looked a little light as well. Not the intention there from the Japanese Team Sasaki. Coming up quite light and a little inside. They'll tap their center guard forward. As it turns out, ends up being quite a good result. The team without hammers' main priority in these situations is to occupy the center line, occupy the scoring real estate of the house, being the top 8 foot, top 4 foot. So even though they are not in the top 8 foot or top 4 foot, that is 2 center guards for Team Sasaki, and it's going to be effective enough to convince Team Anderson to draw around these guards instead of making a takeout or a peel shot on them. After all, Team Anderson confident that they have a good setup along the wing there. No need to perfect that. Team Anderson also very comfortable with the rock they have on the in-turn draw path along the 12 foot. They will now try to control the out-turn draw path, but as we can see here, a little bit heavy on that draw. It's going to send that stone to the back of the rings. They will not occupy the high quality scoring area of the top 8, top 12 foot. And a bit of a missed shot there, you'd have to say. That's the south side of 50%. The better miss there, of course, would to be a little light. You at least give your teammates the opportunity to promote that stone if you miss light. Missing heavy means that you've given backing or a target for the opponent. This way, Team Sasaki can put their stone in front of that previously thrown red stone and feel quite safe that it's not going to be removed. So plan A is to occupy that top 4 foot scoring area. Plan B would be to slide a little heavy and freeze up against that back stone. And hey, a plan C. It'd be fine to leave this light, thus further clogging up the 4 foot scoring area. You can see Mari Motohashi signaling up. This is heavy, she's trying to tell her skip. We will have to adjust, and adjust they will. They'll try to drag this to the back stone. Got caught in between, it looks like. Not quite in the top 4 scoring area, not quite along that back red stone. They got caught in between. However, a major advantage of that shot was the line was perfect. They will be fully buried. Sherry Anderson unable to remove that stone as it sits right now. Sherry Anderson thinks her best opportunity to score 2 points or more, which is of course the goal with hammer, will be to draw around the center guard setup herself. So while it's not preferred this late in the end, Sherry, the experienced skip, has weighed the opportunity to clear out the front versus the opportunity to make the first move into the forfeit here. She will make the first move. Heavy again, significantly heavy. That one would have been through the rings had it not collided with their own, so that's a flat miss. Improved the situation 0. No discernible improvement there. That's going to go down as a pure miss. Team Sasaki really gets an opportunity to put the pressure on here. If they can put this stone where both teams have been attempting to draw to, neither of them able to get their weight under control. Sweepers like it. They've waited to the very end to sweep this rock. Unfortunately, it's going to be a sweep for Plan B as the third stone in a row comes deep. This spot in the ice in the second end really tricking both teams. You can see Sherry Anderson, 3 distinctive taps. Put this stone in the top 4 foot, please. Sherry has seen 3 rocks in a row come deep, and she's not in the mood to see a 4th. Third, Patty Hersicorn. Curling is a sport of last names, curling families. And as we read out the lineup for Sherry Anderson, Patty Hersicorn at third, Brenda Goertzen at second, Anita Silvernagel at lead. Anyone educated with curling in the province will tell you those are some well-established curling families, curling names. Lots of experience on this team. And while I was rambling about Sherry Anderson's experienced team, the 4th rock in a row has come significantly heavy. We're not talking a little bit heavy, at least 6 feet heavy. 4th stone in a row. You can see that pile of missed shots in the back of the 12-foot. This is the time in the game where the ice starts to quicken up a little bit, especially if you've been throwing down the same path over and over again. You start to work in a quick spot in the ice. It's up to the throwers and sweepers to adjust to that. Neither team has been able to do so far. You can see, oh, not from your view, but Team Anderson lining up along the hog line, trying to figure out what they're doing wrong. Why they were missing 2 shots in a row in the same spot. Team Sasaki, I'm sure, having that exact same conversation. Sweepers, you can see, giving information to their skip. They're off this one again, and they're signaling we need to go around. We need to go around everything. I believe we're getting our 5th rock in a row. Heavy down this spot. Someone's got to put on the brakes here and just understand this spot is not doing what we thought it was. You can just see those 5 rocks in the back of the rings, all signifying a failed adjustment. Sherry Anderson skates down the ice after watching 4 rocks in a row sail deep. And she'll try to show everyone on the sheet how it's done. Superb ice conditions all week here in Swift Current, and I say that because I've seen just a very high level of shot making. Some really confident sweepers and confident rock throwers doing their thing. So in order to have the highest level of play in curling, you do need the best ice conditions, and curlers have been treated to that this weekend in Swift Current. James Gordon of Jet Ice here assisting the local crew. A lot of great ice-making minds in the building in Swift Current here. Allowing us, the fans, to enjoy some high-quality curling and really good shot making. Sweepers have been working on this one. Looks like Sherry Anderson has figured out this seemingly tricky weight. And finally, a stone enters the top 4 foot. They've been working all end to make that happen. Nearly completely buried. Can't ask for much more from Skip Sherry Anderson. Honoka Sasaki not seeing much opportunity on the outturn side. Little ice adjustment. All that means is Honoka can visualize this shot and understands that she needs a little bit more Nice. For this rock to follow the path that she visualized. Honoka very animated after she throws the rock. I'll actually keep the camera a little wide so you can see what I'm talking about. Skating down the ice, chasing her shot. Really got outside there, and you got to wonder if that caught some new ice. I don't think we've seen an intern draw that wide yet, so Team Sasaki may have just got caught there on some new ice, a path that had not quite been established yet, and as a result, the rock comes up significantly light. What it will do, though, is limit Sherry Anderson's options for getting a second rock in that forefoot. Sherry Anderson not seeing a great opportunity to score 2 on the outturn side, as her own stone is in the way of counting 2. There's maybe a chance she could just catch a perfect amount of the forefoot on the outturn side, but she thinks she's got a better chance hitting and rolling off of her own stone in the 12-foot along that wing. You can see third Patty Hersicorn holding the broom out to hit her own stone, hoping to get a nice angle and roll in for 2 points. Sherry Anderson clearly sees that opportunity. She did not think that long about it. She went right over to that stone, didn't even consider the outturn draw, understood that this was her best chance at scoring 2. We'll follow Sherry Anderson out here. Last rock, second end, big shot for 2 points. Sweeper's right off of it. Now they're giving a little bit. Outside sweeper engaging, trying to get it to curl a little bit. Looks pretty close. She'll make the shot. Looks like the angle was quite natural there. Got it a little thinner than she intended, but still was able to drive that stone right into the Sasaki rock in the back forefoot to pick up a score of 2. Here in the second end, Sasaki will look to answer with hammer for the first time this game in the third end.
Vernon Dodge Jeep is the home of the no-charge.
Had some questions about if our houses are painted or they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there, and usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logo.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back, curling audience. YouTube, Facebook, curlingzone.com, and of course, CBC Gem. Viewers of CBC Gem, thank you for choosing this curling live stream. You can watch your reruns of Schitt's Creek later tonight. Right now, we got live curling for you. Don't get me wrong. Love me some Schitt's Creek. Daniel Levy, comedic genius. But that will have to wait. We've got Japanese Team Sasaki taking on Saskatchewan, some of Saskatchewan's finest, and Sherry Anderson really will go down as one of the most storied and victorious skips for the longest period of time. Sherry Anderson just fearsome at all stages of her career. with the experienced squad out here. The senior team, as I mentioned earlier, some just very unquestionably Saskatchewan curling greats in the Hersecorn families. Sylvan Engel, of course, Brenda Goertzen as well. Cannot deny the curling know-how, the curling IQ, you might call it, and experience on Sherry Anderson's team here. They were able to control the first end through a blank. Second end looked pretty dangerous. There was quite a bit of center guards, but Sherry Anderson at just the right time deciding, hey, now is time to come behind this center guard. Both teams got tricked by a very quick spot in the ice. We saw 4 rocks come consistently heavy, 6 feet or more heavy, over and over again. Sherry took her gripper off, skated down the ice, and showed the rest of the sheet what the proper weight was. Sank one in the top forefoot. Honoka Sasaki could not answer. Left hers a little light, cut off the scoring area, but Sherry Anderson saw an in-off hit and roll for 2 points. Cool as a cucumber, Sherry Anderson. Scoring her 2. Now Honoka Sasaki will look to answer, and what a great start here. A really nice depth for their corner guard. And then a beautiful draw around. I'm going to get you the name of that replacement player on Team Sasaki. Oh, I will not. Can't find it in my messages, but really good start here for Team Sasaki. Sherry Anderson missing a few draw around the guards there, coming up light. Rochelle needs... Sasaki already solidified their corner guard setup. A little surprised to see them not sink another one around their corner guards or address the clear problematic overlap center guards. Instead, they will choose to come around the center guards themselves. The reason I'm a little confused by that is because as a team with hammer, once you have a setup along the wing, usually you would want to eliminate the danger down the middle. Of course, you can't count your stones along the wing if there's danger down the middle. Choosing to tolerate those 3 center guards surprised me a little bit because it means Sherry Anderson can ignore the setup along the wing and just play down the middle here. They will have to make some shots though, and that flashed hit is not going to help. Interesting again. The in-turn path around those center guards is controlled by Team Sasaki. I thought they might try to make a play on the out-turn side. They will tap their stone forward. Of course, I think they're figuring the advantage here is there's nothing but room. The center line guards will protect up to 2 feet beside this stone, and I think Team Sasaki figures that's a nice degree of being able to miss. Sasaki can still miss this tap back by a little bit and have it be successful. So waiting for this rock to curl, much like Team Sherry Anderson waited for their hit to curl. Weight looks pretty good. They'll get a little tap here, and that feels good as a thrower. Your skip indicates a shot that she wants to see, and you're able to execute that shot perfectly. So really nice rock there by Miki Hayashi. Second rock thrower for Team Sasaki. Anyone joining me in the YouTube stream, we've got a lot of, if you're an English speaker, a lot of strange characters in there. Some Asian viewers tuning in. I got a little trick for you. If you highlight the chat with your mouse, if you're on a PC or Mac, highlight the chat with your mouse, right-click if on PC, control-click if you're on a Mac, and select Translate. Translate to English should be an option there for you. And you can see a Google translation of what our overseas friends are saying about this game. You got to remember, they're staying up till really early hours of the night to watch their favorite teams curl in Swift Current. So as a curling fan, you got to just love that. And to all of our overseas fans, I say welcome. Konnichiwa. Thank you for joining us. After some lengthy discussion, they will choose to hit this this rock around these center guards. And you know what? This is the danger I was talking about earlier. The longer you tolerate that center guard setup, the more chance Team Sherry Anderson has to make a really good one around that. And, you know, with that overlap, there is no run back opportunity. It is also going to take 2 rocks to clear those center guards. So kind of hoping for an outright miss. Team Sasaki's strategy is if Team Sherry Anderson just continually puts a rock behind these guards, Team Sasaki might find themselves at the end of this end with no rock. Hoping to stick around in the rings there at least to raise the stakes. Team Sasaki will roll out. I think got caught chasing a little there. Maybe that rock had more weight than was needed. Sherry Anderson indicating, hey guys, we are playing with danger here. There are 2 opposing rocks in the rings. Sherry signaling to her team, hey, it's a little risky, but I think we got to keep playing around this center guard. And I agree with her that the staggered center guards that it will take 2 peel attempts to remove. That's as good of cover as you're ever going to hope for. As long as this team can keep making their draws around the guard, they will at least force Team Sasaki to a very difficult shot for multiple points. And at the very best, steal a point to go up 3. Patty Hersikorn really zoning into this shot here. As this end draws to a close, every one of these draws around the guard gets more and more important. If they miss even one draw, Team Sasaki will have a shot for 3. They are buried here, just waiting for this one to stop. Going to the very back of the rings. Oof. Is that out counting? Sasaki Stone on the side of the 12-foot. You can see Honoka Sasaki taking a good look here. Indicated it is red. So hangs on by just an inch. Just barely an inch. Mari Motohashi. Another attempted draw around the guard. At this point in the end, Honoka Sasaki has determined these guards are staying here. We are scoring our points with these guards in play. They will try to occupy that top real estate. That's the best draw we've seen so far. Nearly perfect position, as we can see from the right side of the screen, the straight-on shot. There is no hit attempt available there. Maybe some type of soft weight tap, which appears to be what Sherry Anderson is lining up here. Sherry understanding this is a very dangerous situation. With 3 opponent rocks in the rings, and the opponent currently counting 2, Sherry is going to need 2 made shots in a row to bail her team out of this end. Sherry Anderson has had her draw weight pretty solidified this game so far. Her sweepers have gotten to see a few Sherry Anderson draws, so that's a big advantage in this third end. Third end, the ice would be settling in now. You'd still have some paths quicker and slower than others, but by the skips rock of the third end here, usually you've got quite a good handle on what the ice is doing. Sweepers Anita Silvernagle and Brenda Goertzen reading this stone the whole way down, off and on, off and on. They'll switch sweepers, the outside sweeper giving it some more curl here. This is a really good looking shot coming down the ice. And this corner freeze will be made perfectly. That is exactly where Sherry Anderson placed her broom. That is a perfectly made shot to the inch. Team Sasaki stumped. As a curler, when you can make a shot that forces your opponent to stand and stare at the house with a blank expression for more than 5 or 6 seconds, you know you've done your job. This is the danger that Sasaki was playing with by leaving those center guards in play. I know I've harped on her a few times about this. I'm not saying it's the right or wrong decision, but what I am saying is when you leave overlapping center guards to a team without hammer, you leave the possibility open that one shot can nullify the end you thought you were building. Now, don't get me wrong. This is still advantage Sasaki. Sasaki has the shot stone. Sasaki has access to the 4-foot. Sasaki can still score 2, 3, maybe even 4 points if everything goes right. But the very big end, the dominance of the house that was brewing for Team Sasaki was just put on hold by that perfect Sherry Anderson corner freeze on the side of the 4-foot. Hey, in the YouTube comments, I see a fan from New Zealand. Excellent. Gotta love that. Fish head soup 101. Love to hear it. Kiwi curling fans. I suspect there may be a Canadian connection there, but still, that's great news. Honoka Sasaki, you can see at the very top of my camera frame there, very animated as she throws her rocks, communicates with her third and sweepers. This is a big shot. They're trying to create a little bit of separation, a little tap to unlock these rocks. Looking pretty good, and that is exactly what was called. As you can see, the angles have now changed. If that top yellow is contacted, that red stone of Sherry Anderson's is sailing out of the rings. No longer frozen. If Sherry Anderson was to miss this shot, if she was to come up light or heavy, Honoka Sasaki would have an in-turn would you call it a tap or a hit? Some type of soft weight hit shot to perhaps count 4. That was a decision made by Team Sasaki to keep the big end open, and you got to respect that. Team Sasaki could have very easily drawn on the outturn side and lay 2, a very good position to be in, force Sherry Anderson to make a shot against 2 rocks, but Sasaki instead decides, let's keep the opportunity for this big score open by changing the angle on the in-turn side. It was a very difficult shot. It was one that was useless unless executed perfectly. And the team comes together, perfect line, perfect weight, to make that bump. Big pressure now on Team Sherry Anderson of Saskatchewan to put this stone in a place that will force Honoka Sasaki to ignore that in-turn side and address a new stone in the 4th foot. Last rock, 3rd end for Sherry Anderson, the team without hammer, looking to defend against a big score. Sweeper Anita Silvernagel on it the whole way. Inside sweep, trying to keep that straight. Will they get it by the center guard? It's curling hard. They will not. It comes up light. It ticks off. And like we had discussed, on this in-turn path, there is a shot for 3, perhaps 4. It will be difficult. As you can see from the right-hand side here, the straight-on angle, that top yellow stone, you can only see about 1/4 to 1/3 of that rock. They will need to hit as much as they can see, at least, to jam their own yellow stone back onto the red Sherry Anderson stone, leaving at least 3 Sasaki stones, perhaps 4 in the rings counting. This was the situation that Team Sasaki was hoping for when they made the call to address that angle on her first rock, hoping they would get a miss out of Sherry Anderson, which they have now gotten. Big pressure now on the team from Japan to make good on this opportunity they've created for themselves. Honoka Sasaki, last stone, 3rd end. Big shot for 3 or 4. Calling the sweepers right off. Outside sweeper, trying to get some curl. They make contact with 1. They push it backwards. Not enough. It was a very difficult shot. They needed to make contact as much of that top stone as possible. You've got to give this Japanese team credit for playing for the big end. It will be a score of 1 for Team Sasaki after a very entertaining 3rd end.
We just got our shipment of logos here in for our next event, which is going to be the mixed double. As you can see, there's a few of them. There's roughly 20 logos per sheet to be put in for the mixed doubles, along with a couple extra little dots. But all our logos come from Jet Ice. They are the best logos to put in. We use them around the world, and they're very easy to install. As you can tell, this is the center ice logo that's going to be going in for the world. This is about a 4-footer by 10. It's going to look like $1 million. Their colors on their logos are always nice and vibrant. And like I said before, very easy to put in.
Welcome back. I am still hot from that last end. That was a very entertaining tactical end where you saw both teams making some decisions that really kind of risked their team giving up a big score. Sherry Anderson choosing to ignore multiple orbiting Sasaki stones. Sasaki choosing to keep the opportunity for a massive end open by playing the intern instead of solidifying their position for two, perhaps 3 points down the middle. Really, really admirable risk-taking decision by Sasaki to try and keep that big score of 4 open. Love to see that. They end up getting their single point. They're now down 1 point in the 4th end to Team Sherry Anderson. Team Sasaki has had some success creating offense this game, so I don't think they'll let up anytime soon. Team Sherry Anderson looking for a guard here. You got to think that rock picked. No handle, stopping many feet before the hog line. That one looked like it caught something on the ice, or the rock had a bad surface, or, any reason a rock can pick. It happens, people. About once or twice a game, it will happen. Team Sasaki with an open look at the house here. They've got a centerline guard, or as close to centerline as you could really reasonably hope for. Now attempting a draw around is going to be quite light. Still a useful position for Team Sasaki, but definitely a missed shot. They were hoping to occupy that high value scoring area in the top 8, top 4 foot, but coming up pretty light. 4 to 6 feet light there with a full sweep. Lead Anita Silvernagel will attempt to, what this looks to be a tick shot. Looks to be about backline weight. They're hoping to tick that yellow stone out of the way and roll their own stone to the wing. Looks pretty outside, at least a rock's length outside. Maybe that was a simple draw around the guard. I'm not exactly sure. I can't really hear what they're saying out there. Apologies for the lag here, folks. We usually get this figured out pretty quickly, so we'll be a little framey for now, but that high-quality broadcast will resume as soon as the network can catch up, our devices can catch up. Team Sasaki liking what they see. 2 centerline guards, no opposing rocks in the high-value scoring area in that top 8, top 4 region. They are going to try and occupy that region now. Little heavy themselves. Not a missed shot by any means, but you've definitely left that high-value scoring area open for your opponent. Thinking Brenda Goertzen will try a come-around freeze type shot of her own. Sweepers seem to like it, leaving it for the first half. The more valuable sweeping occurs in the second half of the Rock's path. Looks a little heavy, but they will try to guide it in to tap the Sasaki stone. Again, not a perfectly made shot, an acceptable result, but not precisely what they're going for there. There'll be another come-around attempt. This looks like ice, in fact. For a tap back, I'll give you a little split-screen view. Honoka Sasaki knows what's on the line here. This is a qualifying chance in a bonspiel that they have traveled an ocean and quite a few provinces to attend. So this Japanese team, make no mistake, this is their... they will accept nothing less than qualifying. The intensity pays off. Sasaki team makes a darn near perfect freeze on that yellow stone. Remember, the team with hammer would prefer to score than give up a point, but in general, if the team with hammer is forced to score only 1 point, it's considered a bit of a victory for the opposing team. Getting the hammer back, having only given up 1 point, is as acceptable of a result as you can think of, besides, of course, scoring yourself. So a frozen rock at the top of the button, even though it might not be shot, is a very happy result for Team Sasaki. I'm just checking up on this YouTube chat here. Man, is that entertaining. I love it when you fans are as involved as you are. I'm reading comments like, oh, if she only would have rolled this much further, or that's a great freeze shot, and oh, I hope this team gets 2. I love reading that kind of stuff, guys. It shows me that you guys are as into it as I am, and geez, that's the reason we set up these streams, is to give you fans better access and exposure to these teams and such. And so to hear that you're engaged and loving it, man, love it. Love to hear it. Team Anderson just barely coming heavy there. If they would have stayed in the top of the forefoot, keeping that nice angle, that frozen angle on the yellow stone, they would have been pretty darn satisfied. That little tap off, even though it was only about a foot or 2 heavy, is going to open up a double takeout opportunity for Team Sasaki, who might just be lying 3 points at the end of this. 3 rocks, I should say. Even if they don't get a double, just removing this red stone and keeping their stone in the front of the forefoot will be a very valuable position at this midway point in the end. First rock. Third, Mari Motohashi, a full-time curling personality, working with Team Fujisawa when she's not playing herself. This team is somewhat of her project, an up-and-coming team made of former competitive players, taking the ice themselves, seeing what kind of noise they can make on the competitive circuit. Mari will try to jockey for positioning in the top of the forefoot here. A really positive release. You can see her pushing that rock outwards. That's going to help the rock stay straight through its journey. Really floating now. May have been a little too positive of a release. She will make the double takeout. That rock will spill out, and as predicted, Team Sasaki lying 3 points, one of them on the side of the button, covered by 2 center guards. A very, very favorable scenario here for the Japanese team. Skip Sherry Anderson will recognize the danger right away and is already lining up the most optimal takeout to remove both of these guards. And I think you can get as many as 4 Sasaki rocks moving here if you hit it just right. The priority, of course, will be remove the 2 guards at the front of the rings. But if they can hit it just right, Patty Hersicorn here can send many, many rocks flying. Really improve this scenario for the Anderson team. A little bit of a shaky delivery there, if I'm to be honest. Sweepers, 1 rock, 2 rock, 3 rocks, 4 rocks move. Hey, delivery be damned. What do I know? Patty Hersicorn making it happen there. They did jam one stone in the back of the forefoot, but how can you possibly be upset with 3 Sasaki rocks leaving the valuable scoring area? That is an end-saving shot, potentially, from Patty Hersecorn. Very important shot there. No time to celebrate yet. They're not out of the woods. Team Sasaki still lying 2 stones in the rings, one of them in the forefoot, albeit the back forefoot. But a center guard remains, and a chance here to reoccupy that high-quality scoring area in the top of the forefoot. Mari Motohashi trying to make another good shot here. One sweep. I'm not sure. Oh, physically restraining her partner from sweeping. I'm sorry. Yeah, you don't see that very often. She now lets her go. Let those horses ride. A perfect result. Hey, however you got to get it done. Perfect sweep from the Japanese duo there. That is, of course, the alternate player closest to the camera here. I do apologize. I could not find the message with her name. Alongside Miki Hayashi. Japanese duo. Healing their own guard. Sherry Anderson. That guard, of course, was put into place by a beautiful triple run back from Patty Hersecorn. Patty Hersecorn just doing the rest of the work to clean up that center line, and you know what? That's a huge swing. Before Patty Hersecorn came up to shoot, it was looking very grim for Team Anderson. Still not looking the best, but after Patty's 2 shots, compared to the 2 shots that came from Mari Motohashi, although they were made, Patty's triple run back was able to really give Team Anderson a realistic shot at scoring their single point here. If you look at the scoreboard, at 2-1, if Team Anderson is able to score a single in the 4th end here, going into the halfway point of the game, up 2 points, that's a pretty satisfying situation. So Team Anderson, although they haven't abandoned the idea of getting 2 points, I think they're going to be pretty satisfied with scoring 1 here, after all the trouble that they previously faced from Team Sasaki. Team Sasaki really making every shot they've attempted. Really putting the pressure on Team Anderson here. Honoka Sasaki, her first stone in this 4th end, will be a guard, solidifying an already well-established forefoot presence. A lot of body language here. Teams communicating with each other. Right where the third's broom lay. That could have been a little deeper than they were originally intending, but once they recognized it was a little deep, they understood that the line was the important element of that shot, which it was, of course. Sherry Anderson will look at removing these stones. Again, another opportunity to get 3 Sasaki stones moving all at once with a triple takeout on that front stone in the top 12. But what Sherry Anderson is considering right now is, how does that get me 2 points? How does making this triple get me 2 points? The answer is it doesn't. But what it does do is opens up the forefoot for an easier shot at 1. It's kind of decision time for Sherry here. Am I going to take a risk, try to create a skipper's deuce, which is a term that describes nothing really being available for the skip before their stones, but after their first one, and a timely miss by the opponent, the skip will then have a shot for 2. Sherry Anderson instead, and likely this is a wise call, is to remove the danger up front, give herself the best opportunity on her last one to make a shot for 1, maintain a 2-point lead in this game, I should say. Of course, this shot is only effective if made. 2 rocks, at least, need to be moving by the end of this shot. If Sherry takes the top one off, that just simply is not good enough. Team Sasaki will be guarding that stone once again. Sherry will be looking at the exact same scenario, except on her last rock. So, Sherry Anderson, first rock in the fourth end, trying to make 2 rocks move out of the way here. Solid weight. Looks like up normal. Trying to get some curl out of this thing, and they will blow it by. Not the result they were looking for. That very powerful rock of Team Sasaki in the top of the forefoot, cutting off that scoring area, making Sherry's draw that much more difficult, raising the stakes. If Sherry were to come up light or to collide with the nose of that rock, Team Sasaki would score 2. And especially without hammer, that would be a massive swing in this game. Team Sasaki now just discussing exactly where the best place to put their next stone will be. Team Sasaki has settled on a optimum spot that they want to put this rock. Very likely right on the center line in the top 12 foot. Take away both the hit and the draw. Well, I shouldn't say take away the draw, but make the draw that much more difficult. If I was Team Sasaki, I would want Sherry Anderson drawing against 2 rocks in the forefoot. That would be the goal for me. Leave her a double takeout. Why not? If she rolls out, you're scoring 2 anyway. Lots of pressure that Team Sasaki will be able to create if they can put this stone in the path of Sherry Anderson's final draw. Sweepers like it. Getting some outside strokes to get that curl. Coming a little bit deep, but that's okay. Right on the center line. That's a very nice shot from Team Sasaki. It will leave this in-turn draw for Sherry Anderson with a little bit of backing, I should say. As long as Sherry's line is okay, she can be a little bit heavy, collide with that back stone in the back of the forefoot, and at the very worst, give up 1 point, more than likely, scoring 1 of her own. But for Team Sasaki, what a well-played end. By my math, 8 made shots in a row, Team Sasaki. Really have earned this situation they found themselves in, putting Sherry Anderson under a lot of pressure to make this shot. Let's go full screen. Sherry Anderson facing 4 Team Sasaki rocks. Biggest shot of the game so far. She'll take a second to talk to her sweepers. Understand exactly what needs to happen here. Sweepers are on the same page. They'll let Sherry sink into the hack, go through her pre-shot routine. And this is her experience showing. Sherry saw something on the ice that did not sit well with her. So instead of interrupting her pre-shot routine, she's completely reset, reapproached the rock, refocused, and now we'll throw. Last rock, fourth end, Sherry Anderson facing 4 opposing stones. Be clean right away. Both sweepers engaged. They don't think it's heavy. Line appears to be good. Let's get a nice overhead view here. They'll be using that back stone for backing. That was a smart play. Smart call by the sweepers and Sherry. They would have been communicating the whole time. Is this heavy? Is this T-line or more? Do we need to use the backing? They did use the backing. They get their points. Team Sasaki, for all that pressure, only a force. Team Sasaki will have a chance to respond big in the fifth end with hammer. Down 2 points when we come back.
We just got our shipment of logos here in. We're had some questions about if our houses are painted or are they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there. And usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logo.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Welcome back, everyone. Very entertaining game taking shape here between Sherry Anderson of Saskatchewan and Honoka Sasaki of Japan. Honoka Sasaki making every shot. Maybe like a little positioning here and there that you could be picky about if you really wanted to, but that's 8 made shots in a row by my count by Team Sasaki, forcing Sherry Anderson to draw against 4 points. Sherry Anderson had 1 path to the forefoot, an in-turn draw with a little bit of backing. Took her time, resetting the hack, sweepers communicating, and they were able to drag that one to the backing that they had in the back forefoot. Sherry Anderson picking up her single point in the 4th end. Very, very important swing there. We'd be looking at a tie game or worse if Sherry Anderson had not made that. I shouldn't say worse, tie game or more significant. No favorites over here, just cheering for good shots. That's what my grandma always used to say when my mother and auntie used to play against each other. We all know she was lying. Of course she was cheering for someone, but you would never get to hear which one. Team Sherry Anderson up 2 points, but not letting that change their strategy. Going for a center guard and a draw around that center guard. Looks like they've made these shots perfectly. Lead Anita Silvernagel. You know, I guess you could be picky and say that you'd want that draw in the forefoot. We'll give her a 4 out of 5. 9 out of 10. Anita Silvernagel, 90% this end by my weird math. Team Sasaki choosing to address this stone in the forefoot instead of putting one around their corner guard. Sometimes you'll see an opponent or a team with hammer ignore whatever their opponent does. It doesn't matter where they put their rocks. The first 2 rocks for the team with hammer are predetermined. We'll be throwing a corner guard. We will be drawing around our corner guard. You see that quite a bit. But they feel that this Sherry Anderson rock is significant enough that they'll need to address it. Oops, sorry, got the wrong overhead going for you there, guys. Trying to commentate, adjust the scoreboard, adjust the cameras. It's a bit of a hard job, but hey, I am not complaining. What a beautiful way to spend your Saturday afternoon watching live curling. From the angles of these 2 excellent cameras installed at either end of sheet 5, along with, of course, the overhead cameras, giving us a pretty good view of this game. Not only this game, all 6 sheets on the ice right now, brought to you live at the Curling Zone YouTube page. You can have 6 games going if you'd like. Of course, that's too many for me. I can do about 2 at a time. 2 games at a time is my maximum. My mother, Joan, can watch 8 games at a time. Uncanny. Pretty crazy. Must be all that time spent at competitive bonspiels. waiting to see if they're going to play that night or whether they can go drinking and wait till tomorrow morning to find out the scores. 2 at a time for me, but you get to choose your own adventure when it comes to the Curling Zone YouTube channel. But why not hang out here with me, watching Japan's Honoka Sasaki take on Saskatchewan's Sherry Anderson in what has been a really entertaining game so far, especially in terms of tactical decision-making. Back in the third end, we watched Honoka Sasaki really make some interesting calls trying to keep a massive score active, and it really paid off. A couple shots in a row, they were able to keep Sherry Anderson on their heels. Sherry missed a draw on her first rock in the third end. Honoka Sasaki made a tap back, created an angle that really created some trouble for Sherry Anderson. Sherry needed to draw the forfeit, was not able to do so. Honoka Sasaki had a shot for 3, perhaps 4. Was not able to make it perfectly. Ended up taking 1 point. In the following end, the fourth end, Honoka Sasaki got right back to business, creating a bunch of headaches down the middle for Team Sherry Anderson with hammer, eventually forcing Sherry Anderson to draw against 4. Last 2 ends have been big pressure by the team from Japan, but the wily veteran skip, Sherry Anderson, able to survive the onslaught of pressure. And even though a lot of pressure was created by Team Sasaki, we only have a score of 1 and a score of 1. So as far as the scoreboard is concerned, not very eventful ends, but those of us who are here watching, those were really interesting tactical boom or bust type situations. Just goes to show, sometimes you look at a curling scoreboard and you go, oh, they traded singles. Okay, that was probably an open end. Not always, especially not today. Second, Mika Hayashi of Team Sasaki, attempting a draw, tap, freeze type shot. I can't say for sure, but they'll be looking to put their yellow stone in front of the red stone. Oh, just barely getting by the guard, just barely getting by their own stone, tapping that rock back just far enough to why 2 points. What a precise shot from the second, Miki Hayashi from Team Sasaki. It does not get better than that. Look at that shooter. She was able to bury that at least 3/4 while tapping the Sherry Anderson stone all the way back into the back of the house, which is likely irrelevancy at this point in the end. Honoka Sasaki down 2 points. Will not be looking for a blank here. She will be looking for a big multi-score end. Second, Brenda Goritson will attempt a double run back here. Will they hold the line? They will. Making difficult angles work for her. Brenda Goritson responds right back with a beautiful double run back. That's well called by Sherry Anderson, understanding the angles were natural there to make that happen. As a second or third, it's not all the time you get a big opportunity to change the game like that. Brenda Goritson was able to make that work, really flip this end around. Team Sherry Anderson. Second, Miki Hayashi will have another opportunity here. Her team with hammer, lying 1 stone in the rings right now, looking to make that 2. Going behind this center guard, which I will say at this point in the game, we have seen the Japanese team tolerate center guards in nearly every situation. This is definitely a aggressive tactical team, somewhat flying in the face of tradition where you consider center guards the enemy. Team Sasaki has seen them as an opportunity, lulling their opponent into comfort. Hey, we're going to leave this center guard. You should feel safe. You don't need to come address our stones orbiting in the 8 and 12 foot. Waiting to pounce late in the end, attempting to make a big shot to remove the opponent's stones out of the middle and thus count their orbiting stones, their outside stones. This is team with hammer that's willing to put it all on the line. Hey, for us curling fans watching the game, that's a very entertaining tactical stance to take. So I'm sure we're in for a treat the rest of the game. Third, Patty Hersikorn had a very good end last end. Trying to make a come around on the corner guard here, thus eliminating the opportunity for multiple points around this corner guard setup. Outside sweeper, really giving her here. Trying to get some curl. And that's a made shot. Pushes the opponent's stone back into the back of the 12-foot, likely into irrelevancy as the end starts to come to a close. We've reached the halfway point of the end. Team Sasaki will try to keep this corner guard setup alive after all. That stone did come into the back of the house. It's behind the tee line, which for a curling team means is an opportunity to place a stone on top. It's a freeze shot, and it will eliminate the opportunity for takeout. Team Sasaki looking to answer with a freeze of their own. Likely not holding much hope that they can count that stone in the back 12, but at this point in the end, at least they will jockey for position on this this wing, which refers to the outside of the rings. Third, Mari Motohashi, who's been asked a lot of this game. Some pretty difficult shots from Mari. She's held her own. Not a lot of pure misses here, and I don't think we're going to have another one here as they're trying to get this stone to curl. Might be a little heavy. Ooh, they get it by the top one. No, it will blow by. Unfortunately, a bit of weight on that one. Seemed like it was cruising pretty fast. The stone will sail through the rings without changing anything. That is a pure miss from Mari Motohashi. Third, Patty Hersikorn looking to take away this in-turn draw path from the team with hammer, of course, Sasaki. Sherry Anderson up 3-1 will be trying to limit the amount of points scored by Sasaki here. Ideally, Sasaki does score a single point, giving Sherry Anderson the hammer back in the sixth end. Of course, an acceptable outcome is a steal. But the strategy here would be to shrink the scoring area, take away the easy paths to the scoring area. And my goodness, this is really curling. I wonder if that was released slowly. You can see sweeper Brenda Goertzen checking to see if the ice had any debris. Might explain that that stone that caught there. Both sweepers looking quite confused as that one came to its end. I do think that they experienced a bit of a pick, which refers to the rock catching either debris or a spot on the ice that causes it to slow down abruptly or curl suddenly. It is unfortunate, but it is something that happens in most curling games at least once a game, let's say. We've had 2 so far here today. Both sweepers keeping a clean brush on this broom. Seeing what happened to the previous stone, they don't want a pick of their own. They won't get a pick. They'll get a beautiful hit and roll. As you can see from the right-hand side of our angle here, there is no clear way to remove both of those stones. Sherry Anderson asking her team on the other end, how much can you see of this? Can you see my broom still from the hack? Sherry trying to gauge how much of that rock she is able to hit. Of course, rolling out is no good. Rolling out to the right-hand side will give an opportunity for Sasaki to hit and roll themselves. Right on the nose is probably a pretty good result. Team Sasaki will not have an opportunity to roll inside. An inside roll, a very slight inside roll, would of course be ideal, securing shot rock and taking away the outturn path for Team Sasaki, the team with hammer. Make no mistake, even though there is a center guard belonging to Team Anderson, the advantage in this end belongs to the Japanese Team Sasaki. For the third end in a row, really playing consistent curling. Only that one missed shot by Mari Motohashi. Sherry Anderson will once again look at a fairly difficult scenario. With this Japanese team down 2 points, they are certainly revving their engine, making some noise here, threatening the Team Anderson lead. 3 very well played ends in a row. Sherry Anderson will be looked on to save the end once again. Sherry Anderson's first stone in this 5th end, without hammer. Trying to maintain position in the front forefoot, eliminating a Sasaki stone, and sticking there herself. Very outside, significantly outside this shot. She will chip and roll off. No doubt a benefit to remove that Sasaki stone. It's one less stone that might count at the end of this end, but really the key, the more important aspect of that shot was keeping her shooter in that outturn path. They would have been disappointed with rolling to the outside, let alone rolling right off. So Sherry will consider that a miss for herself. Her standards, as she's proven throughout her career, much higher than that. Sasaki will have an opportunity to make even better this stone in the top forefoot, forcing Sherry to the same shot, or maybe even worse. Team Sasaki looking at playing to the wing here, which, of course, would tempt Sherry into ignoring it. You got to think Sherry on her next shot will be playing to the middle in some capacity, either removing that stone on the center line in the top 8, or making a draw, freeze, tap type shot. By playing to the wing, you increase the reward. As the team with hammer, if you play to the wing, you hope that Sherry will ignore that stone. If Sherry does play to that stone, it's unlikely she'll be shot rock, so you'll likely have an open draw for 2. I think that's what Team Sasaki is considering right now. We've seen them take some risks in order to increase their potential reward for a big shot. You know, their options here are to draw to the forefoot, once again, exactly like they did previously, or to draw to this wing. They must think that they have a better shot of securing a multi-score end by doing this. You can see third Mari Motohashi signaling to the forefoot, suggesting to her skip, you know, this is an option right here. But skip Honoka Sasaki is quite convinced that the draw to the wing is the better play. And from experience, if your skip says one thing, you suggest something else, and they confirm they want to do that thing, that's the end of the discussion. The skip has insisted twice. It'd be tough to suggest it a third time. So the shot that Honoka Sasaki has visualized, she is now thrown. The sweepers are not very active on this one. Inside sweeper taking control. It means the line is quite close. Did they wait too long? Is this rock over curling on them? They'll need to brush it hard to maintain shot rock. They will maintain shot rock. Unfortunately, it is not on the inside edge that they would have preferred. If, of course, Team Sasaki would have left that stone about 2 or 3 inches to the left, the only hit opportunity would not have removed the yellow stone. Now, if Sherry Anderson wishes to do so, she can hit that stone. Right now, Sherry looking at 2 opposing stones, both under cover. She's likely to conclude that she'll need to play some type of freeze shot. A hit or a double is not available. A hit to remain in prime position is not available. So really, if you're going to hit and roll off and leave a shot for 2 anyways, the thinking here is she may as well play a freeze or a tap, which might force the opponent to 1. The reward is much better, and the difficulty is about equal to playing the safe shot, which would be just a hit. And as we can see from this straight-on angle, there is no very easy available hit. So Sherry Anderson will follow Honoka Sasaki down this path to the wing. They have just seen this shot performed by their opponent. The sweepers should have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen here. They would have a time of the opponent's stone on their stopwatch. Sherry has been drawing all game, feeling quite confident in her weight. Sweepers have seen quite a few draw weight shots out of Sherry's hand, so everyone feeling pretty good about this draw to the wing to limit Team Sasaki. Ideally, lying 1 point at the end of this shot. Sherry Anderson's last shot in the 5th end without hammer. Sweepers are on it. They can see it curling. They can see it slowing down. Sweepers have switched. The outside sweeper now trying to coax some curl out of this stone. The big thing will be weight here. And the weight is just not quite there. They will leave Team Sasaki lying 2 points. And after nearly three full ends of just very impressive shot making from Team Sasaki, Sherry Anderson escaping the danger in both the 3rd and 4th ends. Team Sherry Anderson not able to escape the danger this end. Sasaki will score 2 points at least, and if she can make this draw, will put a score of 3 on the board to take the lead in this very interesting, tactical, back and forth game. Honoka Sasaki, last rock, 5th end. She likes it out of her hand. Sweepers are indicating that the rock is heavy. Outside sweeper, the more experienced of the two, indicating to her partner, no need to sweep this. We're all there. Rock is gliding in nicely, and that will be a score of 3 for the Japanese. Honoka Sasaki, a hard-fought comeback here, will take the lead 4-3. Sherry Anderson will have a chance to respond with hammer in the 6th end. When we come back, Curling Stadium Live, S3 Group Curling Stadium Series in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back. 6th end action here. Team Sasaki capitalizing on quite a bit of pressure they were able to create in the 3rd and 4th ends. 5th end, it finally pays off. A big score of 3 for the tactical risk takers. Team Sasaki not playing scared at all. This Japanese team. Successful kind of center line and corner guards there from either team. Team Anderson in this even end, this sixth end, third last end of the game. Throwing a corner guard, signifying that they are ready to put it on the line here to score 2 points or more. Team Sasaki as well, choosing to throw 2 center guards. So this indicates both teams are very serious about scoring a point in this sixth end. The reason the sixth end ends up being so important is because as teams trade hammer back and forth, it is obviously much more advantageous to have hammer in that eighth and final end. So what can a team do to help ensure that they're going to have hammer for that eighth end? Well, you can try to score in the even ends, is how it ends up shaken down. If you score in the sixth end, your opponent will have hammer in the seventh end. Well, as long as you can make your opponent score in the seventh end, you will have hammer in the eighth end. So that is the thinking there. Both teams, Sherry Anderson with hammer, Honoka Sasaki without hammer, will try their best to score a single point here. Honoka Sasaki, of course, satisfied as well with Anderson scoring a single point. No more than that, of course, but if Anderson scores a single point, Sasaki will have the hammer with a tie game in the seventh, meaning they can attempt for a blank, they can score 2 themselves, they could even give their opponent 1. Really, any reasonable result that isn't scoring 1 themselves would be the goal there. I could talk all day, but it is generally accepted amongst tactical curling minds that you do want to score in the sixth end, no matter the scenario. Knowing that, Sherry Anderson will recognize there is some trouble up front here. 3 rocks, 2 Sasaki stones and 1 Anderson stone, interrupting the button and forefoot area. So Team Sherry Anderson will do something about that right now. Their very first opportunity as the 5 rock free guard zone expires. Brendan Goertzen will attempt to make some rocks move here. Releases that rock very early, just out of the 12-foot, maximizing her velocity that she'll get on this peel attempt. Looks pretty close. Oh, she will only get 1 stone, the top one. We will likely see Team Sasaki replace that stone, and Team Anderson continue to attempt to peel it for at least the next 2 or 3 shots per team. It's a bit of a stalemate if you want to consider curling chess on ice. That would be like a situation where both teams continually move the same player back and forth until the other one decides it's time to do something different. Usually the team with hammer being the one deciding when it's time for something different. But for at least the next rock or 2, we will see a center guard replacement and a peel attempt from either team. In Miki Hayashi. Now, I thought they signaled high center guard there, but somewhere along the path of that stone, someone decided, well, that ain't happening, so they ended up trying to drag it as far as they could, unfortunately creating not a lot of separation. As a team throwing center guards, there's more or less 2 things that you're looking for. You're looking to overlap those center guards so they can't be run directly back, and you're trying to create separation between those center guards so they can't be easily double peeled. This time they get neither overlap nor separation, so both priorities somewhat not achieved there. A little slow on the cameras here. Sorry, people. They will get 1 rock, and that is all. I would say not a very good result. As we just mentioned, overlap is what the team without Hammer is looking for. So Team Sasaki without Hammer sees center guards with quite a bit of overlap. Now, the lack of separation means that both of those guards will be able to be removed with one stone, but behind it, there's still an obstacle in the way. Long story short, Team Sasaki quite satisfied with this setup. They will look to occupy the front of the forefoot with these overlapped guards, knowing that it will take Team Anderson at least 2 shot attempts to remove them. Third, Mari Motohashi gliding behind her rock with sweepers giving lots of information. Looks a little heavy, and unfortunately, as the team without Hammer, that is the wrong way to miss, distinctly. Yeah, a wasted opportunity there for Team Sasaki. That rock in the back of the house is not doing much for them at all. It's almost guaranteed someone is scoring this end, so there was no need for a force stone. Sherry Anderson will now have an open opportunity to address these center guards without much danger behind them. That was really a missed opportunity from Team Sasaki to solidify a stolen rock setup. If they put that in the top of the button, it's going to be very difficult for Sherry Anderson's team to claw back and create a situation where they can score a point. Now, they'll have an opportunity for a double peel. Patty Hersicorn throwing some weight here. 1 and 2. They will send 2 guards soaring through the rings with the shooter rolling off. That's a perfectly executed shot by Patty Hersicorn. She has made good a couple times today on opportunities to get her team out of trouble. Patty Hersicorn, at least the 3rd double peel made today from the 3rd for Team Anderson. Mari Motohashi will replace that guard. Or will they be coming directly into the rings now? Looks like this is a repeat of the previously attempted draw. And unfortunately, it looks like a repeated heavy throw. Oh, starting to come down now. Sweeper's liking it. Trying to drag it for some of that overlap we were talking about, and it ends up in a perfect shot. I judged it too soon. What do I know from back here? And as we can see from the straight-on angle on the right-hand side, some overlap, some separation. It's what the team without Hammer was looking for. Sherry Anderson will attempt to move both of these stones. Sherry thinks she can see just enough of the top one to make some type of, if not a double tap. This looks like ice to hit it, though. Patty Hersicorn once again being called on to make some rocks move and get her team out of trouble. Sweepers on it right away. They definitely don't want to overcurl. And tick their own at the top of the house. Oh! And they just barely will contact that top stone. A really significant mistake there from Patty Hersicorn. Unable to move either of those very quality controlling rocks from Team Sasaki. You can see her disappointment as she skates back to the skip. Team Sasaki with a very serious opportunity to take very firm control of this end. Honoka Sasaki, her first rock in the 6th end, looking to really put the pressure on Sherry Anderson. With a center guard here and 2 rocks in the scoring area. The team from Japan looking to really take control of this game in the 6th end by stealing a point. It'll start by putting a perfect center guard up right now. That's going to do the trick. I bet they wanted that a little deeper. This gives Sherry more opportunity on the inside path. Very interesting. I thought Sherry would take a crack at the rocks in the forefoot, at least try to limit the damage to one counting Sasaki rock, but no, she'll be going for the best result, which is, of course, a run back triple. There is an angle here to clear all 3 yellow rocks. Sherry Anderson will be taking it on with her first rock in the 6th end. Sweepers back and forth. This looks very close. 1. Oh! As you can see, just blows by that top stone. Did not miss that by much. Unfortunately, the result will mean very little, as Honoka Sasaki will have an opportunity to replace that guard and force Sherry Anderson to make some type of shot against this headache of a setup here. There will likely be a reasonable shot to give up only 1, but Sherry Anderson's opportunity to score a single point here in this all-important 6th end, as we discussed, the analytics very much favor the team that scores in the 6th end. I just don't know if that opportunity is going to be there, if Honoka Sasaki can make this guard. Sweepers were on it right away. Jumping it, as some might say, trying to keep that rock outside for longer by sweeping it very hard at the beginning of its journey. Now they've changed their minds. They want it to curl. They will really try to finish this stone hard, sweeping on the inside corner, trying to coax that rock over towards the broom side. A congratulatory pat on the back, although I'm not sure Sherry Anderson had anything on that outturn side anyway. I think that rock, that guard, may have been best about 4 inches to the left. Taking away the hack weight tap back on this one in the back button. I wonder what Honoka Sasaki saw as Sherry Anderson's easiest shot. I definitely would have been prioritizing taking away this intern path. Sherry Anderson, once again, looking at a very difficult scenario. Two opposition rocks in very high quality position. One opposition rock at the back of the house, counting 3. Sherry Anderson will be making a shot against multiple opponent stones. Not the first time this game she's had this look. A little tap back to score 1 is available on the intern side. Sherry Anderson communicating with her sweepers. Looking a little hopeless. A little bit of humor in her face there. She knows that this shot is there. She is describing the exactness of the path that she needs to take. Team Anderson, I'm sure, confident they can make this shot. Last rock, 6th end, Sherry Anderson. Sweepers addressing it right away. Not a hard clean. This has got a lot of ways to curl. I am afraid they misread this stone. They will blow by. They will give up 3. And Sherry Anderson's 9 lives somewhat run out there. Game is not over by any means, but it will be a very steep hill to climb for Team Sherry Anderson, down 4 points with hammer when we come back from break.
Had some questions about if our houses are painted or are they logo. Our events are always painted houses, but in the future coming out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to all logo houses. They're a great revenue source for any curling club. You can get your advertisements on there. And usually after the first year, the houses are paid for. It's all free money for you. So hopefully check Jet Ice out for your future in-house logo.
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
Welcome back. Team Sasaki from Japan putting together 4 very impressive ends in a row there. Team Anderson able to survive the 3rd and 4th, giving up a single and single, nullifying the extreme pressure Team Sasaki was able to put on them, but in ends 5 and 6 and 5, Team Sasaki able to score 3. And 6, the relentless pressure continues, forcing Sherry Anderson into yet another very difficult shot against multiple points, not multiple stones. Sasaki stealing another 3 points to go up 7-4, blowing this game open, giving them a very distinct advantage. Nearly perfect, drawn to the rings by the alternate lead here on Team Sasaki. We'll look to put a stone in the top of the 8-foot here, thus solidifying the scoring area, firmly belonging to Team Sasaki, knowing that later in the end, Team Anderson will be forced to address this situation. Team Anderson utilizing the free guard zone. They'll throw both of Anita Silvernagle's lead rocks into the free guard zone. This prevents Team Sasaki from hitting or removing the stones. Sun going down here in southern Saskatchewan. My name is Rory McCusker, broadcasting to you live from Regina, Saskatchewan. I have access to the cameras and controls that are over there in Swift Current. My coworker James Gordon on the ground there in Swift Current. Jerry Gertz, the Commander-in-Chief operating out of London, Ontario. Bringing to you as much high-quality curling broadcast as possible. It's a great time to be alive and have an internet connection as a curling fan. Well, multiple made shots in a row here from both teams. Team Sasaki putting all 3 rocks exactly where the skip indicated. Team Anderson getting their 2 corner guards up. And now they'll look to Brenda Goritson to make some magic happen here. This appears to be ice for a tick or a tap and roll type thing. In any case, it will be absolutely critical for Team Anderson to keep their shot rock in play, ideally behind cover. With the free guard zone expiring, Team Sasaki up 4 points will undoubtedly be looking to hit anything yellow. Or anything red, sorry. Anything belonging to Team Anderson. That tick does not go as planned. She will bunt that rock or tap the center guard rock into the rings, into the high traffic scoring area. Ooh, an interesting call. Team Sasaki recognizing they have the advantage in the forefoot. And Honoka has been tempted to throw a guard up 4 points. I gotta tell you, as a team trailing by 3 or more, all you're hoping for is that your opponent will be lulled into comfort, thinking that they have things in a very good spot and throwing guards. Of course, you're hoping this because if you can ever find a way to shift, to tilt the balance of that end, those guards that your opponent threw may come back to haunt them. Honoka Sasaki may end up being interrupted in her efforts by that guard. Sherry Anderson, thrilled that Team Honoka Sasaki was not peeling, will attempt to immediately take advantage of this situation. Sending a rock directly backwards, Sherry Anderson knows every shot from here on out needs to be made in order to have a shot at a big multi-score end, which is what Team Anderson will need to find themselves back in the competitive thoughts of this game. Run back number 1 coming down the ice. Sweepers are on it right away. This one's curling a lot right out of her hand. It appears they've given up on it. That will hit and roll off. Not the worst result. It does open up the Team Sasaki stones. Honoka Sasaki will guard again. That opportunity was missed because Team Anderson was throwing a run back on their own stone. Now, if they want to throw something back down the center line, it will have to be a Sasaki stone to a Sasaki stone, thus eliminating the possibility of promoting their own stone into the rings and counting points that way. So, first missed opportunity by Team Anderson. Sasaki will replace that guard. Third, Mari Motohashi. Very committed figure in Japanese curling. Now playing with her own team on the competitive circuit. This looks significantly heavy. It'll be drifting quite a bit further than intended. But will more or less do the trick. Remains in the free guard zone. Covers the Sasaki rocks. Sherry Anderson will likely have to address it. So, mission accomplished. Job complete. Whatever you want to say. That rock did the trick. Skip Sherry Anderson hearing some feedback from her teammates. Ready here, Saskatchewan. Third stones here in the 7th end. Sherry Anderson moving her way to the back of the house to line this up. Get the sweep call perfect. This looks darn close. 1, 2. Unfortunately, I don't get any more moving, but that's still a made shot, undoubtedly. Ready here, Saskatchewan. Wrong end there. There we go. Team Sasaki have lost a rock in the forefoot, but they're satisfied. They still got 2 very high priority stones, or high value stones, I should say. Top of the forefoot, they'll choose to guard those once again. Mari Motohashi has a chance to take a little weight off this one, give it a little better line for her sweepers, put it in a perfect position. Sweepers right off of this one, looking for it to settle, and that's going to be a great shot. Perfectly placed. I think the skipper, if she could have just placed that rock with her hands, would have put it right there. So, center line path completely out of play for Sherry Anderson, and Sherry will already be looking at some fairly desperate run backs to flip this end in her favor. Sherry dare not peel guards. Of course, the thinking is, if you can ever make it one of these big shots, those guards will eventually protect you. And down 4 points. Not many options besides hoping for just that. A really big shot from Patty Hirschhorn here. Try and get her team on the right side of the inch here in the 7th end. Sweepers on it right away. On and off. On and off. Floating a little bit. Yeah, and they will send it across. That is a very difficult shot being asked of Patty Hirschhorn there. On to Skip's rocks now. I think my coworker James Gordon has hopped in on this game, taking care of the scoreboard, showing how many rocks are left. Just hoping all of you out there on YouTube and CBC Gem Facebook are enjoying this stream as much as I am. We've had a very tactically interesting game. Sherry Anderson able to avoid pressure for the 2nd and 3rd ends. Or sorry, 3rd and 4th ends, I should say. 5th end, finally caught up with them. Team Sasaki was able to score a well-earned 3 points. And the very next end, the pressure did not relent Team Sasaki. Really giving it to Team Anderson, forcing Sherry into a very difficult shot against 3, which Sherry missed. Putting 6 points on the board in 2 ends for Team Sasaki. Some more grabs to the arm from the more experienced sweeper on the right-hand side. It's the first time I've seen that technique. Hey, if those teammates are cool with it, I'm cool with it. But you don't see that very often, a physical restraining of your sweeping partner. Sweeper's doing a really good job this game on the Japanese team. Sasaki really in tune with what their teammates are throwing. Well-earned break there at the hog line for these two. Sherry Anderson looking at her next, difficult run back shot. There's not much you can do in this situation. You have to score, and you have to score multiples right here. It's got to be a score of 3 to have a realistic shot, a score of 2 to even keep the game alive for Sherry Anderson. So, with no rocks in the rings, Sherry will make run back attempt number 1 to try and keep her team in this game. You might see them continue to play if they only score 1, but a score of 2 you would think is statistically necessary to have a reasonable shot at winning this game, or even tying it. Sherry Anderson, shot number 1, 7th end. Oh, bit of a camera wonkiness there. Let's look at this from the overhead. Just a little bit too thin. Will she stick around in the rings? She will. So, not all hope is lost. Oh, or did she spin all the way out? That was quite a nasty spin that rock took. And you know what? Sherry Anderson, the veteran, has seen this situation too many times. That's it for me, she says. Sherry knows that there's no way into those rings, that 4-foot area. She'll toss those rocks back and congratulate Team Sasaki on a game well played. And really it was. That Japanese Team Sasaki started off a little slow. First 2 ends gave quite a bit of advantage to Team Sherry Anderson. Oh, and look at that celebration. You can see those ladies are so excited. They've qualified for a new team in October. There is no better feeling than finding some early success, really firing on all cylinders. And you could see third Mari Motohashi and skip Honoka Sasaki really celebrating that victory there. Front end there, big high five. And sportsman, congratulations there from Patty Hersicorn and Brenda Goretson. I mean, this veteran Sherry Anderson team, all four of these ladies have had success in the past. They know what it takes to have success in the future, and look out for them to make some noise later on in this this competitive season. But for now, we've got our C qualifier. It is Honoka Sasaki. They will play once again, 8 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow morning in a playoff game. Let's enjoy this celebration just a little while longer. Gotta love this. So much emotion from the Japanese squad. This is a strong field, absolutely. It's a well-earned feeling to qualify at this Bonspiel here. A strong showing from the Team Anderson entering the women's field. This is their senior squad, and it's always good to see them hanging with the most competitive division. See Sean Meacham crouching down over there. If you would like to watch any of these remaining games, you know where to do it. Curling Zone YouTube page. And for you CBC viewers, we're going to try to bounce you to one of those games right now. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you later.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
We just got our shipment of logos here in for our next event, which is going to be the mixed double. As you can see, there's a few of them. There's roughly 20 logos per sheet to be put in for the mixed doubles, along with a couple of extra little dots. But all our logos come from Jet Ice. They are the best logos to put in. We use them around the world, and they're very easy to install. As you can tell, this is the center ice logo that's going to be going in for the world. This is about a 4-footer by 10. It's going to look like $1 million. Their colors on their logos are always nice and vibrant. And like I said before, very easy to put in.